my cousin was Michael Brown. Now there were many other Michael Browns. So you get many people who are closer speaking people, and the person is Grootboom. I mean, where did the Grootboom is? Now most of that is from a closer clan name called Timkul, which is for the big three. You know, so all the like Jeff Khadebe are called him Timkul, which is the big three. So you know, people were being creative enough. They said, okay, now I want to get an ID and play as a color. You know, so people, you know, they made a word for people who do. So yeah, that one. We are player is playing to be colored. We are player. So it's Grootboom. So you had all of this. So maybe you rushing to get to work, and then you see someone say, you know, what's the time, or the train is delayed. So you see someone pitch black than I am. Hey, Gubani Clash. So there was a sense of distancing, but it's not only maybe there was also psychological of distancing yourself from that, but if there were railway cops there who would want to ask you for a pass, you would have been reclassified back and you would have been endorsed out. So you had to keep your distance. So you pretend that you don't know the language, you don't hear what the people say, and then the other people also were a bit naughty. So they know that this person is playing, so they start gossiping and saying nasty things. But you can't respond because you will reveal that you can hear the language. You know, these people are playing, they pretend they don't know, they are scared of passes. Oh, they're running away from initiation schools and You just pretend you don't hear. So this is like what was happening, and I do think that the pressure of being pushed down made people to try and distance themselves. There are other things about segregation. I mean, later now, when I was working for the union, we were quite keen to get people mixing up. And I'm talking about sort of colored workers, it was for the first time to go into a black African township. So, I mean, the sort of physical separation of people meant that people went to different spaces and were not going up. Clearly, the issue of the scramble for jobs and the crumbs causes a lot of that tension. Made worse by the fact of no shared experiences, and so you get a lot of this very strong tensions of racism, reverse, and you also get it between sort of I've sort of worked now in the union here in Cape Town, so you get it between some of the colored workers or members and people of Indian origin or Muslim. So, people, the Cook sister cabal. That's how that's referring to the Muslim comrades, and so I think that scramble for jobs and resources may explain things. Look, I mean, I don't think it's just a question, because then there are issues of how people live their lives, and so I mean, I've been always amazed by if you speak to people and say, look, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, and I speak to all these colored workers. Before now, UEFA, the soccer was fashionable. I mean, I know right in 1980, the guys I was working with at Metal Box, they were following European football big time. So they could tell you about Manchester, United, the City, Arsenal, And if you go to in Bonteville or Bokmakiri and all of this, and go into those houses, you'll see those flags, English football. And, you had all the people named after all the sort of European soccer stars. And so, I mean, it's not just that, and I think there's a culture that begins to be created and that people use to distance, or that culture distances themselves. Yeah, okay.